David, good morning.
Hello, Michael.
Bright and
Good.
early in this cold Santa Monica, 45 degrees. I know I'm complaining about that, but it's probably pretty cold where you are, especially in that Thursday night football game we just watched last night.
Oh my God, right?
That was insane.
35 in
Thir-
Springfield, Ohio, currently.
I only have 10 degrees on you right now. That's insane.
hmm
That's insane. It's supposed to
Cold tub
rain
was
here next week,
38 this
too.
morning.
Oh, God.
It-
I did an infrared sauna the other day, and I had the option of doing a cold tub as well. And I just did heat, and man, did I feel good after that. Have you ever
I
done one of
bet.
those?
Infrared sauna? Oh, yeah, 100%. I love those. I mean,
It's
I'm
the best.
more like the closer you can get to like the OG sauna, the better for me. But I could definitely jump in an infrared sauna and
Wait, you like original sauna more?
yeah, like the hot coals or hot rocks, and just
Why don't you don't like infrared?
it just gets hotter. Infrared doesn't get that hot to me. Like
Yeah,
it
but
can
the
get like
infrared's like supposed to
150
be like
max.
it's supposed to be like good for your skin and all that other bullshit. But
Yeah,
that's some
well, I
LA
think.
shit right there, dude. That's some LA shit.
Yeah, you're really trying to sell the technology, bruh. And I'm old school right
I'm just
on
saying,
this.
it's good. It feels good. Um,
No, I feel you.
but yeah, so a lot's been going on. I've been sick for like almost 2 weeks now, man. It's been brutal. Is there
I
stuff?
I went through the same thing, dude. Like whatever it is, like whatever virus or like flu virus is going around, like it's sticking around and lingering, and you definitely get some residual side effects.
Yeah, it's a lot of coughing. Anyway, I wanted to ask you about this because I'm going through like trying to make some changes in my swing. I'm not like going through it. I'm just like trying to make a few like minor adjustments in my swing. And I played in a tournament this past Monday, and the front nine, basically, I was just trying to feel like the new swing. And luckily, it was a course where you can mess around with some feels. It wasn't like too narrow. You have room right and left, basically off every hole. And so the front nine, I was basically just trying to feel my swing and like kind of feel what I was feeling on the range. I was hitting it pretty good on the range, and then I get out in the course and I just start blowing it like like every shot was like way right. And the whole front nine, I was just like trying to feel different things to make it better. And then like I hit like a snap hook, like the eighth hole is a dogleg left. I hit like a snap hook that probably went like 180 yards. Had to hit like this high fade 7-iron around the trees to get it back in the fairway, and I actually ended up getting up and down from like 80 yards, which you need to do sometimes. But the ninth hole was like a 230-yard par three. I hit a 4-iron like 40 yards right of the green, and then at that moment I was like, "Fuck it!" Like just stop thinking about your swing. Just hit golf shots. And so basically, I just started hitting like a 15 to 20-yard fade off the tee, just only worrying about what the ball flight's doing. And I just started striping it. And the whole time in my head, I'm like, I know what I'm doing technically isn't correct, but it's going exactly where I want it to go. Like almost to the point where I was like messing around with different shots. Like I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try this one, and it would just happen.
Because
And
like you were so in control of your ball flight at that time
I just had
afterwards.
all the control. I mean, my swing path was probably minus 15, but
But you were in control of your ball flight after you
it
just
went.
surrendered to like not being so technical.
Yeah, I just said fuck it, and I just started hitting like just hitting these bigger fades, and it was like pretty unbelievable. Like the last hole was par five, second shot's over water to the green, very narrow green, but the greens are soft, and I had 230 yards out, straight into the wind, probably about a club and a half wind, and I just took my 3 wood out. And I'm like, I'm just gonna hit a low fade, and I hit the best shot I've probably hit in like 3 years, and I hit a 3 wood from 230 low fade into this green over water to 10 feet, and I just was laughing at myself, and I kind of was walking off the course, like trying to figure out like what I should, excuse me, take away from that round, and yeah, I just wanted to know like if you've had any experiences like that.
Oh yeah, 100%. And like I find myself like I can play halfway decent golf and think about like a swing thought out there, like a technical swing thought. But I realize when I'm not thinking about something technical, a lot of times like I'm playing a lot better and like is optimal. I'm performing optimally, you know, like is like I can't yeah, I mean sometimes you get into the zone. Like I recall like when I was playing really good living down in Florida, like my wrist was like I had a ganglion cyst on my wrist that was growing, and I wasn't practicing a lot, but like I was in a really good mindset, and I started scoring really well. And I remember this tournament at Port Charlotte, um, kind of by Punta Gorda, Florida. Like my wrist was hurting so bad, and I shot one over the first day. Like I wasn't. I was like, man, like we'll see how like the front nine goes, and like my like it hurts so bad for me to like make a driver swing that I was like, well, we'll just like I wasn't thinking about any like technical stuff out there, but I turned at like 33, and then from holes like 9 to 14, I ripped off. I think I birdied every hole. I went 6 birdies in a row, and then I ended up shooting 63. So it was a good day, and I just remember I had zero swing thoughts. I was just like they say in Bagger Vance, like I was in the field, and like that's kind of how it sounds like you were. Like once you kind of just let go of everything, and it it's easy but also difficult to get there. Like a lot of it does have to do with mindset and just being like really okay with whatever happens. Just not trying to be too like forceful of an outcome until you have to, I guess. Because like there's a point in time where you look at like Tiger Woods, for example. He's probably like thinking all the same similar stuff. Like he probably doesn't think much like technical stuff when he's out there. But like there's comes a point in time where he wills the ball into the hole, especially like back in his heyday. You know, like 2008, like he freaking willed his way to a U.S. Open.
Yeah, it's just yeah, it's almost like I just had to get over like trying to make my swing like perfect in a way. But also, it's interesting. It's such a weird thing because you're taught to swing a certain way and this is how you're going to hit good shots. But then when you go on the course, you're told to just play, you know? And so if you're kind of caught, like I was so caught in between, and every time I was walking down the fairway or walking up towards a green, like I just kept thinking, like, what am I going to take away from this? Like, am I going to take away, like, just to say fuck it and not work on mechanics anymore? Because I know the mechanics I'm using right now aren't it. But I also know that, like, maybe the reason I am hitting it better is because I've been working on the mechanics, and then now I got to the point where I kind of let everything go. It's a weird golf's such a weird thing because you have to care enough about certain things and then not care about certain things. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I've
Yeah,
been talking to some people about this like for the past like couple days, and every time I get in this conversation, I'm like in my head, I'm like, this makes no sense. If you're talking to a non golfer, this makes no sense because they like talking to a non golfer, they'd be like, just do what works. Like they would kind of take the common sense route, but then like a golfer, an experienced golfer, you're like, well, I have to do these things so I can do these things. But if I don't do these things, then I'm going to be, kind of all over the place. It's such an interesting game, and I feel like this is like one of the many elements that makes golf like so hard is because you're constantly battling yourself and the course and learning new stuff. It's wild. Like if a player on the team that your coach was like telling you all this, what would you say?
That's a really good question. I'm taking it all in, and right now, like what comes to mind for me is like, dude, just you need to find a way to practice doing something autonomously or making it as autonomous as possible, and I guess as reactive as possible. So, what comes to mind, and this is going to be kind of a weird analogy, and I've gone a couple times in the last few weeks, but rock climbing. Like when I've been rock climbing, like I realize like I do kind of get a little fucking afraid when I'm getting high up, and like I'll be 10, 15, 20 feet up, and like after a while, dude, it's a fucking workout, man. But like really, I've noticed in what I've kind of taken in from going these couple times is like you can't really like you're thinking about like how to get to like the next level, the next rock, and like kind of move your way up, but like you have to just do it at one point. Like there's times where like I'm fucking afraid to like to clamp my like my two fingers on like this little tiny freaking knob and like pull my whole body weight up with like help from like another like couple base points, but or touch points, but yeah, I mean, I'm going deep down the rabbit hole with this rock climbing thing, but like I'm not saying do something outside of golf to get your mind off of it, but like it definitely helps to do something different and like clear your mind and find ways to clear your mind. And like paddleboarding is something I like to do as well, for example. And like when I first started learning how to paddleboard, it's really simple and easy. Like basically like you paddle like you have no elbows and then just switch back and forth. But yeah, I mean like you eventually like don't even think about like the paddling motion, but you're just like taking in a lot of stuff, or like you're focusing on like the current, like if you're battling a current as well too. So I think there's a little bit of like training wheels and everything, just to like wrap it up in conclusion. Definitely like we always need like training aids and like and having training wheels, but yeah, I mean, it's really hard for golf in a sense to like separate the practice from the play I mean because it is such a mental game, and like you have nothing but your thoughts until you hit the golf ball, and like you're watching it and observing it in flight or rolling on the green.
Yeah, well, it's like you want to continue to get better. So you want to keep working on it and you want to keep like feeling those feels. I mean, the one thing that I wish I could just continue to do and not battle myself with is like once I bring out like my tripod or bring out my, iRange thing it's like if I just start taking like a bunch of videos down the line and face on, like I know I'm going to be stuck in like this vortex of like mechanics for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then after I kind of snap out of it, I'm like, what the hell? What the hell did you just do the last 2 hours? Because I think mechanics are such a small part of like being really good at golf. Like obviously you need the fundamentals and you need like you can't have like a I mean, dude, just look at Scotty Scheffler, man. Like yeah, he gets into some good positions, but like overall, like if
He finishes differently almost every time, or like he
it's a
doesn't repeat it.
it's so different. And if you put him like you brought him to a coach that's never watched the PGA Tour and just have him and he had a bad ball striking day, he'd be like, "We got to tear everything down. Like everything needs to change. Like you need to stay on balance. You need to tighten up your backswing. Like there's like a million things you could fix, quote unquote, fix in his swing. But he's the best ball striker on tour since Tiger, and it's unbelievable how different it is. But then you have guys like Rory and Tiger, and Adam Scott, and like everyone wants to look like that. And that's another thing you have to battle is like or if you're on Instagram at all, I have to unfollow like all these accounts with that show like perfect golf swings because I'm like, oh, I want that swing so bad, or like I want to get that move down so bad. But like the more you fall into that, it's like, do you want to look good or do you want to, do you want to make some paychecks? Because I've played with a ton of guys who've had perfect golf swings that honestly can't even break 80. And, they're worried too much about like the shaft falling on their right forearm on the way down, or, the club finishing low and left, like underneath their shoulder plane. And they don't care about like what that's producing. And every time I've tried to get the shaft down my right forearm on the way down, I like to hit a fade. That produces a draw. It's like it's crazy how different everything is. The mental hurdles you have to get over every time you play. And I've talked about this before, but you have to find your system. You have to find what works for you. It's kind of like when Jordan Spieth went through his swing change where he stopped like chicken winging on the way through. And then he finally realized like, that's not a weakness, that's a strength of mine. Because I know if I do that, the ball's not going left. Like simple stuff like that. I'm sure when Scotty Scheffler is sliding all over the ground, he's like, hey, I did that because I needed the ball to turn right. Like just little things. It's kind of like when Tiger was working with Hank Haney, I was a big fan of that swing because he knew if you felt more laid off at the top, that ball ain't going left.
Right.
Like the swing he made on the 18th hole at Torrey Pines when he forced a playoff. Like if you watch that driver swing on 18, that club is so laid off, but it was like a good 20, 25 yard fade off that bunker.
But it just didn't fade enough.
Well, yeah. I mean, he was able to, get the shot out. And I'm just saying that's like his safety swing. Like
Yes.
Everyone has that, even though it's not like aesthetically perfect. And even Ernie Els, like I saw a post about all these senior tour guys are like, if you could describe Ernie Els' swing, and they're all like, they're saying like tempo, rhythm, butter, like all these like really good words for golf swing. And you cut to him and he's like, yeah, I don't have the best swing. I'm a little late on it sometimes, but I like to focus on my tempo. And it's just like, even a guy like that, like if you watched Ernie Els swing, you probably be like, I want that golf swing. But guys like that, I mean, and he's battled his own mental hurdles. I mean, everyone saw the 6 putt at the Masters on the first hole. So, it's not just swing, it's every part of the game. I mean, there's guys who've had to chip one-handed in tournaments, or cross-handed, or they switch putters from like the belly putter to excuse me, to counterbalance, to arm lock, to claw grip. It's wild. Anyway, I just went on a tangent there, but golf's fucking insane, man. And
yeah,
I hate that I love it sometimes, but yeah, it's Monday was like kind of an eye opener, even though I've had a bunch of them. It's just sometimes you just need to say fuck it and hit the shot that's required. And if it doesn't go the way you want, it's not because of your mechanics. It's just commit to it and move on to the next one. You have anything else to add? Would you like to give us an experience you've had when you're struggling, or mid-round you flipped a switch?
Well, recently, I mean, I didn't play too well either, but the Toledo Open, I didn't have the best first round. I had what was going on that weekend? Oh, I was really busy with work and like hadn't really gotten much sleep, and I drove up that morning 2.5, 3 hours to the tournament, thinking I could walk out after an hour and a half and play good golf. I didn't. You remember that rant.
Yeah.
So we can look back. You guys look back a few episodes and you'd be able to listen to every deconstruction of that first round because we did a pod right after. But day two went a little better, but I got off to a really, really bad start. The first 4 holes, I'd say I was pretty out of it. Believe I went double, par, bogey 3 putt, and then bogey on 13. And then I birdied the next hole, which was I don't know if you've played Highland Meadows before.
Yeah.
So 14, I started on the back nine that day. I doubled 10.
I'm not.
And then
I don't know it well enough to know the 14th hole.
the
Describe
dogleg
it for our listeners.
The dog leg right on the back nine, that's really difficult. It's got like trees on the inside of the dog leg and like through the fairway. So you really have to hit a good drive on that hole. And the green's kind of fucky as well. It goes from like kind of back to front, but side slopes a little bit too. But yeah, okay. I mean, I had hit the fairway, really good drive after that, and then stuck like a shot. Pretty sure it was a 48 from like 130 or so to like 10 or 15 feet. Then I rolled the putt in, and like my day got off to a much better start, or like my day like kind of took off after that. So that was one of the last few tournament rounds I've played in. Actually, I think it was the last tournament round I have played in. Yeah, because I've just been doing stuff with coaching the team ever since. But yeah, that was one where I remember I was thinking a few technical things out there, especially the first round when I started to get tired, like middle of the round. It was like I was just like reaching for something. And then the next round I was kind of still in that. I woke up and like I was kind of out of it. And then I honestly I showed up like 30 minutes before my tee time just because I needed the extra rest, and I was teeing off pretty early. And so I didn't have much time for a warm up, so I was kind of out of it, and basically had to warm up like the first few holes. I mean, I wasn't like thinking that mindset. I was still like trying to like get off to a good start and not start 4 over through 4. But yeah, I mean, I think I shot 1 over that day. I have the stats on my phone.
I mean, that's, like sometimes you just need one of those rounds where you're like, I have it, but 1 over is a good score today, or I don't have it. I mean, and 1 over is like a good score. Well,
I'll say like I remember on like after I hit that drive on 14, I didn't miss a single drive the rest of the day. Like it was probably the best I hit my driver minus. Well, I hit it better that day, I felt like, than I did the day I played well at Brookside and locals. Just a little bit better. Because like at Brookside, like I pretty much hit 11 out of 14 executed drives. I hit 2 blocks with my driver. And then on 13 at Brookside, I kind of made like I wasn't fully committed to the swing because Daniel and I were kind of like chatting on the tee box trying to figure out something.
Oh, so it's Daniel's fault.
No, it's my fault. I wasn't fully committed, but like because like he was thinking something different, and I was like, I like this hybrid. Like I kind of like smothered it a little bit, and like it went through, but it ended up working out because I had a shot at the green and stuck it to 4 feet and made birdie. So that was a good day for me. Hang on. Highland Meadows, we got it right here. I'm sorry, I did not bogey 13. I got up and down, so I was 3 over through 3, and then I got up and down on 13, and then birdied the 14th hole and played pretty well after that. 15, I can't remember exactly what I did. That's why we got the stats here, though. Missed the green, missed it right. Oh, yeah, I hit it in the bunker. Didn't get the bunker shot up and down. So after that, like I played pretty good. Birdie number 1 and birdie number 8.
Yeah, dude, golf's tough, man. It takes it out of you. I was playing with a buddy yesterday who probably plays a couple times a week, and when he hits the ball good, he stripes it. Like he hit like a probably close to 300-yard drive. People don't understand how far 300 yards is. So when they hit a good drive, they think it's like 320, but This is probably like 270, 275. I say close to 300 to be nice. And he had like a flip wedge and he just lays sod over it. And he's like, dude, how the fuck did I hit that drive? And I just looked at him. I'm like, it's golf, man. Like that shit happens. Like, yeah, your swing's not perfect, but you also play twice a week. You know, like what do you expect? Do you expect to hit every shot good? That's crazy. Like I expected every shot good, and that's crazy. You know, and I play every day and practice all day. And so sometimes you just gotta, you know, chalk up to the game. You know, that's golf. But anyway, I'm glad we both have similar experiences with golf. So sometimes you have to listen to other people and kind of get their experiences and kind of know that like you're not alone and like what you're going through with the game, you know. But there is a lot going on with the game of golf and professional golf, and we kind of touched on it a few weeks ago about making the PGA Tour making fields shorter or smaller. And Dave, you said you pulled up the article. Can you give us a little highlight of what it says?
So basically, the policy board approved everything to. Did we cover this in our last pod? Okay. So the PGA Tour policy board approved changes to the field sizes, making them smaller, eligibility, and the FedEx Cup point system, which I don't think is that much of a big deal, but more so like the field sizes, and how to like get into the tournament. So for eligibility, the changes include, and this is from Golf Week USA Today. I don't know, some article online. I'm citing it. The changes include exempt status changing from top 125 to top 100 in FedEx Cup standings, with conditional status for 101 to 125. Change was incorporated for players who receive their cards via Korn Ferry, DP, or Q School to have a greater certainty of schedule and equitable playing opportunities for full field events. Per the release, only the top 20 finishers on the Korn Ferry Tour will receive PGA Tour cards instead of 30. And then they'll keep DP and Q School the same, so 10 DP cards, and then 5 Q School cards. And then Monday qualifiers in 144 player fields, only 4 spots will be available. The number goes to 2 spots for 132 or less, and then 0 spots available for 120 player fields. So not even giving people a chance to play in those events.
Before you go on with that, the beauty of golf and what I feel like a lot of people who are big golfers who are fans of the game or former players, I think a lot of people loved the fact that a guy could show up on a Monday, play the round of his life, and play in a PGA Tour event that week. And I feel
and have a chance to make a career out of it.
Yeah.
If like that's what he wanted to do.
I mean, I think it was JT Poston who made like 6 Monday qualifiers in a row back in like 2018. And that's unbelievable. You have to play such good golf to do that. Like you can't just shoot 70. You have to shoot 65 or below. And sometimes 65 is like 3 shots out. So to do that 6 consecutive times, and and if you're playing that well, who knows what you can do that week? You know, if you don't let the pressure get to you. Like it's like I had a buddy qualify for a PGA Tour event this year, and he said it was like an unbelievable experience. And it's just cool that if you don't have full status, or let's say you didn't have the money for Q School, or you know you play in a few tournaments a year, and like one of them is the local Monday qualifier for when the PGA Tour comes to your city. Like there's just something special about that like once you start taking it away, and it all comes in. And honestly, they're doing this, and we'll get to the quote here in a second. But like, it sucks that like a sport like this, when like how much more do you need? They're doing this for like ratings and money. and golf has grown way more than they ever thought it would since COVID. I mean, obviously the Tiger bump was probably the biggest ever, but then like after the whole COVID thing, like it's almost impossible to get tee times in certain cities. And like how much more do you need? Like you have it all. And to shrink that and to really like I'm sure in 10 years when they don't have like these stars anymore, like you don't have your Rorys or your, I mean, who else is like a big star on tour right now? I mean, Bryson's on Live, so that doesn't count. But I feel like it's catering towards like guys like Rory when he already has it all.
And the top D1 college players.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't mind that because I think it is cool to be able to try to qualify out of college because I feel like it's the only sport that doesn't have like a draft where if you're a top college player, I feel like you should deserve a chance or just given sponsors exemptions. Like there's so many different ways you can make this better. And I feel like they're just making it to be like, you know what? Like what's the one's going on right now? The RSM. We're gonna make the RSM unattainable for everyone because we want a couple more $100,000 in the bank, and in the long run, that's not going to get you anything. Like that, you're just going to kill the game. You're going to make it almost impossible to reach the next level, which is already impossible or borderline impossible. So I just don't understand what they think they're doing, but like shrinking it more and more and more. I thought Liv was gonna help this a little bit, but I'm sure the next 5 to 10 years there's gonna be a new tour that comes in. It's like, hey, we're a players tour. We're not doing the whole bullshit where like we're not doing the influencer thing where if you're good, you're playing here. And I feel like once people kind of get over like this whole YouTube golf, Instagram golf thing, which it will get old, and it's not real golf. Hate to break it to you. Like if you ever see the behind the scenes and all this stuff, it's kind of crazy. But like there's gonna come a point where we'll be like, we want to see the best players. We want competition. We don't want we don't want this Mickey Mouse, bullshit anymore.
Speaking of YouTube golf tournaments, did you see that there's an OnlyFans golf tournament?
Of course there is. Of course there is. This is the OFI, OnlyFans Invitational.
It's something like that. It came up on my Instagram feed recently.
Of course it did.
I was like,
what's your algorithm like?
Dude, it is not that bad, I swear.
That's hilarious. What is it? Just like a bunch of chicks who can't break 90?
I will say it was pretty provocative golf wear, yeah. But
I mean that's what Instagram is, dude.
Yeah, they weren't like in bikinis or like nude or anything like that. But yeah, I mean I think it's just something promotional. But those are popping up all over the place too. And like so are like I mean there are a lot of influencers on social media, all platforms.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that's bad. I'm not saying it's bad at all. It's definitely.
I mean, you're one of them.
What's that?
You're kind of one of them.
No, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying like what they're doing is bad at all. Like I think like, dude, do whatever you can to be able to play golf all day, every day. That's pretty cool. I mean, it's not for me. Like I want to see the best players play. I mean, that's why it's kind of tough for me to turn on a golf tournament because I'm like, I don't know what's going on right now.
Okay, well, I'm gonna kind of play devil's advocate here, and we'll talk about something that happened this past weekend,
okay,
which was the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight.
Okay.
So, I mean, you could put Jake Paul in that category of
100%.
Like for boxing is what golf influencers are for social media.
1,000%.
And I mean, he beat Mike Tyson. Jake Paul did. Mm-hmm. I mean, call it how you want it. I mean, whether it's an age difference or like the fight was fixed or it wasn't fixed, whatever.
Doesn't matter.
He won. He won.
Yeah.
But like he held his own, and he's done this like many times. Like I saw something again on like one of my feed reels. This is my algorithm too.
Here we go.
But like it's a deconstruction of like Jake Paul before the Tyson fight as well too, I believe. But guys are saying like, well, he's fought all these good fighters. They may not be at their prime, but like they are really good fighters.
Mm-hmm.
And they may not be the best in the world right now, but like they're probably still top 25. And so like he's getting good practice and getting better that way. So like you can't I would say it's safe to argue that like you can be good and be on YouTube. I mean, look at Bryson, but
Well,
like that's
I'm
a
not saying you
far
can't.
example.
Okay. Let me
But
kind of. I get what you're saying, and I like the Jake Paul thing. I like what Jake Paul is doing. Like he's trying to be the heel. Like there's nothing that brings people together more and gets more eyes on hate. Like that guy is hated, but he knows what he's doing. He doesn't think he's a genius. Like him and his brother are like geniuses when it comes to this. Like they're just playing the heel on everything. Like Logan has his stuff and he does the WWE and he has a bunch of like his prime and then Jake Paul is just a huge troll and he's playing this YouTube game to get all these views. And the guy made $50 million on that. Mike Tyson made $20 million on that. Here's the difference. Boxing is dead. It's a dead sport. It once was the most popular sport in the world. What other boxers do you know? You can name like 2 or 3 active?
Adrian, active that are good. Yeah, no, I don't know too many.
Exactly. But like
I can name more. I can name more MMA fighters probably.
Yeah, and so golf is thriving. And the PGA Tour doesn't know what to do after the Tiger Woods thing. Like once Tiger Woods started going downhill and like we had guys like Martin Keimer and Luke Donald as number 1, number 2 in the world, it was brutal. It was so bad. Then Tiger came back 2013 and then he kept trying to come back and the most viewed golf tournaments are always when Tiger plays. But the reason it's like that is because they don't know how to market outside of that. But Tiger did his own, like Tiger was his own market and they just kind of thrived off of it. Like they don't know how to make it better. Now, the YouTube golf thing is just another avenue of golf, but it's not the PGA Tour. I mean, they've already had influencer tournaments. I don't know how they did, market wise, but all I'm saying is like, it's going to come to a point where guys, people are just going to be like, can we just watch the good players play? Like, why does it have to be, can we just have like a big tournament where everyone tries to qualify or a big tour where everyone tries to qualify and it's not just like Rory at 45 years old and he's the spotlight or like Brooks Bryson versus Rory and whoever. I think there's a match coming up. Like no one watches that. Like that was fun during COVID because there's nothing on. But all I'm saying is like the reason people love the NFL, it's the best players playing that sport. The reason people love watching basketball and the NBA finals is because it's the best 2 teams. The reason people love watching like the baseball in October is because it's the best teams. And once you start like making all these weird things and condensing it to guys who are already in the 1%, it just in the long run it's going to kill it. That's all I'm saying. Like I think once we started, like when we started this podcast, it was Live versus PGA Tour, and we were talking about some other bullshit that happens behind the scenes, and I still believe that, but you have to be undeniable to be where they are. Like you have to be great at golf to be on the Korn Ferry Tour. You have to be unbelievable to play in the PGA Tour. I'm not saying that everyone should have there should be a spot for everyone. I'm saying you have to be that good, but also there needs to be some kind of a chance. Like the Monday qualifying, like 4 players getting in, great. But then you shrink it to 2 and then to 0. Like, what are we doing? Like, there's so many great players.
Well,
like it should be growing and not shrinking. Like I just don't understand that. Like the shrinking it is unbelievable to me. Market the Korn Ferry better. Market these like secondary PGA Tour events better. It just like put faces in front of all this. Like the reason that
They're
NBA
saying they
player
need to alleviate pace of play with it and everything
that's
too. Like they
bullshit.
have all, yeah,
Lucas
and
Glover
like
said that. I posted something in my story. Do you have that quote up?
I can get it. I just saw something similar to it. More Lucas Glover slams PGA Tour changes. Yeah, I mean, he said that I think it's terrible, and then hiding behind pace of play. I think challenges our intelligence. I think they think we're stupid.
Yeah.
That was one of his quotes. But um, yeah, I mean,
Did you hear who's the girl who smokes all the cigarettes on the LPGA tour?
Charlie Hall.
Yeah. Did you hear what she said to how to fix pace
She
of
was.
play?
What's that?
She basically said like if you get told 3 times to speed up, this is paraphrasing, so bear with me. If you get told 3 different times to hurry up or to like you have to go back to Q school the next year. She's like, I guarantee you people would speed up then. I was like, hell yeah, I love that. Cutthroat.
I mean, that's kind of how it should be. I feel like you and I have been kind of keen on pace of play, and like sure, like I like playing golf at like a good pace, but like not super fast. But
Yeah.
yeah, I like I've said, like there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to play in 4 hours and 35 minutes
In a
max.
tournament, yeah.
That is a big cushion. Like back in the day, like when they were playing golf, like the U.S. Open, like when Francis Ouimet won, like back like 1919, they freaking played 36 each day. They played 36 on like Friday, 36 on
Yeah,
Saturday.
because it
Like that
wasn't
was their
as like
tournament.
technical it is now. Like you have guys who are like they're
Yeah, yeah, like that field was probably really small and
yeah.
they were able to do that. But now like obviously you can't, like everyone's like we got to stretch it out. Like
But hold on,
things
can we
it
go
was
back? Can we
different
go
way
back
back
to
then,
shrinking
but
the fields really quick? I just can't believe we're trying to shrink the field with how many great players there are now. Like it makes no sense to me. And if you're gonna hide it behind pace of play, that's crazy. Like start making tournaments at 2 different courses on Thursday and Friday. You know?
yeah, and that's one way that they can do it. And like the Ohio Open does that. And
Yeah.
so why can't PGA Tour tournaments do that?
The
Like have it.
SoCal Open does that. They have 300
Yeah.
players every year.
Yeah, have
Pace of play is
two
fine.
courses. The USAM, the USGA tournament does that.
I'm.
They have
It's just
two qualifying
crazy, dude.
courses.
I like the people at the top are just fucking greedy people
Mm,
who are so into numbers and like. I mean, when's enough? You know, like just make the product good. Like why is everything so like shit? You know, like everything's just so money driven, and I understand that people need to like put food on the table, but like, come on. Like Monday qualifiers are $500. Crazy. Practice rounds are $150. Crazy. Like at some
yeah,
point
what
you
they
have to be
say.
like what are we doing? Like back to our roots. What are we doing, man? Like there's nothing that's going to make me there's nothing right now that's going to make me want to turn on a PGA Tour tournament. You know why? Because they don't market it well. They're not catching my eye. Like they need to follow like they need to follow like what the NFL is doing. Like who's the next guy instead of we need to keep our guy up. You know, I feel like it's a lot of like if the NFL only talked about Patrick Mahomes. I understand he gets talked about a lot, but like deserving 2 Super Bowls in a row. But they're always looking for the next guy. Like, is it Drake May? Is it Caleb Williams? Is it Jalen Daniels? Like every new guy, it gets all this attention, and people are tired of talking about the Cowboys, and it's showing. And that's what the PGA Tour is doing. So yeah. Anyway, I got pretty heated, man. Too early for this shit. Any more thoughts?
No, we're fired up. You don't need any more coffee, do you? Or any more Celsius?
I have a little bit left, but what would you do to fix the PGA Tour?
Pace of play, make it faster, cut through.
Okay, but how?
Penalized if you finish outside a certain time.
Same field size?
Yeah, there's no reason why they can't play in 435.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's simple as that.
They need to pick up the pace. I mean, just look at the putt. If like you don't have time to read the whole putt, like there's there's like a little sense of like just NFL's got a play clock. Why can't the PGA Tour like
Baseball's
start
got
it
a
on
play
every
clock.
tee? Yeah,
That's
baseball.
that's saved baseball too.
Yeah.
It's been
It really
only a
did.
good thing. Yeah.
Start the timer at when you get to the tee,
They didn't
and
shrink the
then
field. Baseball didn't shrink the field. They didn't. There's not less players on the field. There's not less innings. There's not less anything besides time between each throw. And you get a certain amount. It's like like I'm sure that would help some people mentally. It's like I have to hit this ball now. I have to hit it. I have to step up and hit it. Yeah.
and like I think that's where the like there can be camaraderie as well too. Of like okay, like this guy, like everyone's kind of like doing their part to finish at a comfortable pace, and maybe there's like a timer, an official for every group. The PGA Tour can easily do that.
All these people are like fucking volunteers too.
Yeah,
Like it's have a volunteer timekeeper. Like a member at that golf course would love to do that. That's a dream job.
yeah,
Not everyone needs to get paid to do stuff. I mean, like the guy who's like the CEO of some bullshit business would be like, yeah, I'll keep time for Aberg and McElroy. Yeah, he's sitting there with a fucking stopwatch.
they could do it as easy as like the AJGA does too, with like green cards and red cards.
Yeah. Wow, I forgot about that. We were playing I mean, like on Monday we were playing foursomes, and there's a big emphasis on pace of play on this tour because we play foursomes, and we were like a half a hole behind, not because of me, but every time I finished the hole, I went straight to the next tee. Like you don't have to wait around, just go to the next tee. Or it's like if you're playing in a casual round of golf, like be ready to hit. Don't sit in the cart while you're like one guy's hitting. Grab a couple clubs, go to your ball, shoot your yardage. Once he hits, you go. Don't sit there and then do like read your putt while someone else is putting. Don't walk around the whole green while he's doing it, but just make sure it's common sense to us because we've been doing it for so long. But like I said, man, we're going to talk about this more next week, but if I run for president, we need golfer ID, and we'll end with that. Follow us at Traveling Athlete Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Follow me at Mike Wolf Golf on the same platforms. Follow
David Wetterick. Follow me
on Instagram.
And
so
then thanks for voice Gabe out there. Thanks for listening, y'all. Appreciate you, and see you next time.
What are we doing?